Stop for 1 second. If you take vitamin D every morning and think you're covered, I have to be honest with you. There's a real chance it's doing almost nothing for you. Not because the vitamin is bad, not because you're doing anything obviously wrong, but because of a few small, everyday habits that quietly stop your body from ever using it. Many people don't even realize this is happening. They take their pill faithfully, month after month, year after year, and their levels barely move. Their energy stays low. Their joints still ache. Their sleep still feels off. And they never connect the dots back to how they were taking that one little pill. Here's the part that surprises most people. The timing, what you eat with it, even the time of day you take it, can be the difference between a vitamin that actually reaches your bones and your brain and one that simply passes through your body and disappears. I've seen this mistake so many times in so many people that I knew I had to sit down and explain it clearly, once and for all. This is very important, especially if you're over 50 and counting on vitamin D to protect your bones, your heart, and your mind as you age. So today, I want to walk you through exactly what's going wrong, why it happens, and the simple fix that takes less than a minute a day. The reason is much more important than it seems, and once you hear it, you won't take that pill the same way again. Watch to the end, because the last part might be the most important thing you learn about your health all year. Let's start with something that might sting a little. Vitamin D is often called the sunshine vitamin, and most people assume that's the whole story. Get some sun, take a pill, done. But here's the twist almost nobody talks about. Your body doesn't actually use vitamin D the moment you swallow it. Not even close. That pill has to go through a whole journey inside you, through your gut, into your bloodstream, into your liver, and finally into your kidneys, before it becomes the active form your bones and brain can actually use. And at almost every single step of that journey, something can go wrong, but here's the first thing most people get wrong, and it's shockingly simple. Vitamin D is fat-soluble. That means it needs fat to be absorbed properly. If you're taking your vitamin D on an empty stomach, with just a glass of water first thing in the morning before breakfast, which is exactly what most people do, because it feels responsible and disciplined, you could be flushing a huge portion of that vitamin straight through your system without ever absorbing it. It's not laziness. It's not carelessness. It's just something nobody ever explained clearly. But that's only the beginning, because there's something deeper going on, something tied directly to age. As we get older, our skin becomes less efficient at making vitamin D from sunlight, sometimes producing less than half of what it did in our 30s. Our kidneys, which are responsible for activating vitamin D into its usable form, also slow down. So even if you're taking the exact same dose you took 10 years ago, your body may be converting far less of it into something useful. This is very important because it means the one-dose-fits-all approach that works for a 30-year-old often quietly fails people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. Now here's where it gets interesting. Many people, once they realize their vitamin D levels are low, assume the answer is simple. Just take more. Double the dose. Add an extra pill. But this is exactly where a second mistake creeps in, one that can actually work against you. Vitamin D doesn't work alone in your body. It has a partner, a mineral it depends on to function properly. Without enough of that mineral, more vitamin D doesn't mean more benefit. It can mean your body pulls resources from places it shouldn't, like your bones, just to keep things balanced. I'll explain exactly what that mineral is and how to make sure you have enough of it, because this single piece of the puzzle is something almost no one mentions, and it changes everything about how you should be taking vitamin D. There's also a quieter factor at play, one tied to your daily habits without you even realizing it. Coffee in the morning. A busy schedule that pushes breakfast later and later. Taking your supplements in a rush, standing at the kitchen counter, 30 seconds before walking out the door. All of these small, ordinary moments can interfere with how much vitamin D your body actually keeps. None of this makes you careless. It just means nobody ever sat down and walked you through it step by step until now. By this point, you might be starting to see why your vitamin D hasn't been working the way you expected. But the real turning point, the part that ties all of this together and shows you exactly how to fix it, is still ahead. And once you see it, it's going to feel almost too simple to believe how much of a difference it makes. So let's get into the mineral I mentioned, because this is where most of the confusion really starts. That partner mineral is magnesium. Vitamin D cannot be activated in your body without it. Not properly, not fully. Your liver and kidneys need magnesium to convert vitamin D into the active form your body can actually use. And here's the twist. A huge number of adults, especially past 50, are quietly low in magnesium without ever knowing it. No dramatic symptoms. No obvious warning sign. Just muscle cramps at night, restless sleep, a little more fatigue than usual, things that get brushed off as just getting older. So people keep increasing their vitamin D dose, wondering why nothing changes when the real bottleneck was never the vitamin at all. It was the mineral working behind the scenes that nobody told them about. Now, before you panic and run to buy another supplement, here's the good news. You don't need anything expensive or complicated. Magnesium is found naturally in foods many of us already have in the kitchen: leafy greens, almonds, pumpkin seeds, even a square of dark chocolate in the evening. Adding a small handful of these a few times a week can make a real difference in how your body actually uses the vitamin D you're already taking. Simple. Quite effective. Next, let's talk about timing, because this is where another twist comes in. Most people take their vitamin D first thing in the morning, out of habit, thinking earlier is better. But research on fat-soluble vitamins suggests the opposite may be true for a lot of people. Taking vitamin D with your largest meal of the day, for many people that's dinner, means it's absorbed alongside more natural fats, which can significantly improve how much of it your body actually keeps. So that quiet evening meal, the one many of you already sit down to after a long day, might actually be the ideal moment to take your vitamin D, not the rushed morning minute most of us default to hear something else worth pausing on. Not all vitamin D is created equal. There are two common forms sold in stores. One is generally considered noticeably more effective at raising and maintaining your levels than the other. If you've ever compared labels and felt confused by the letters and numbers, you're not alone. Most people just grab whatever bottle is on sale, never realizing the form they choose can meaningfully change the results they get. And finally, let's talk about something almost nobody connects to vitamin D at all: your weight. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, which means it can get trapped in fat tissue instead of circulating freely where your body needs it. This doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. It simply means your body may need a bit more consistency and a bit more patience to see the same results someone else gets more quickly. Understanding this one detail alone stops so many people from giving up too early, thinking the vitamin just doesn't work for them, when really, it just needed a little more time and the right conditions. Put all this together, the right food, the right timing, the right form, enough magnesium, and a little patience, and you start to see why so many people take vitamin D faithfully for years with disappointing results, while a few small adjustments can completely change the outcome. And there's one more piece, maybe the most overlooked of all, that ties everything together and makes the biggest difference of all. Here's the piece that ties everything together, and it might be the most overlooked one of all: sunlight itself. Not sunlight the way most people think about it, going outside, feeling warm, assuming that's enough. The twist is this: your body needs actual skin exposure without sunscreen, without glass windows blocking the rays, for a meaningful amount of time, in order to produce vitamin D naturally. Sitting by a sunny window with your coffee feels good, but glass blocks almost all of the light your skin needs to do this job. Driving with the sun streaming onto your arm through the car window doesn't count either. It has to be real, direct exposure, even if it's just your face, arms, and hands for 10 or 15 minutes on a clear day. For so many people, especially those who spend most of the day indoors, at a desk, running errands quickly, or simply avoiding the sun out of habit, this one detail alone explains a huge piece of the puzzle. And here's where it all comes together. Imagine doing this: taking your vitamin D with your evening meal instead of on an empty stomach in the morning. Making sure you're getting a little natural magnesium through simple foods like leafy greens or a handful of almonds. Stepping outside for just a few minutes of real sunlight when you can, even if it's just on your porch or during a short walk. And choosing the more effective form of vitamin D when you're shopping, instead of grabbing whatever bottle happens to be cheapest. None of this requires a dramatic life change. None of it costs much, if anything at all. It's small, quiet, consistent adjustments, the kind that don't feel impressive in the moment, but stack up into something powerful over weeks and months. This matters more than most people realize, because vitamin D isn't just about bone strength. It plays a role in your energy, your mood, your immune system, even how your muscles function as you age. When it's not being absorbed properly, you can end up feeling like you're doing everything right and still not getting the results you deserve. That's not a failure on your part. It's simply a gap in information that most people never get the chance to hear clearly explained. So here's what I'd encourage you to do. Look at how you've been taking your vitamin D. Ask yourself honestly, is it with a meal or on an empty stomach? Are you getting any real sunlight during your day? Are you including a little magnesium in your diet? These are small questions, but the answers can completely change how your body responds. If this helped you see your own routine a little differently, take a moment today to make just one small adjustment, even something as simple as moving your vitamin D from morning to dinner. Small changes done consistently are often the ones that matter most. Taking care of yourself as you get older isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about understanding your body a little better, one piece at a time, and making small, informed choices that add up. You've already taken a good step just by learning this today. And that's exactly the kind of steady, quiet progress that leads to real, lasting results. If this helped, hit subscribe for more simple health tips like this, and share it with someone who needs to hear it too. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.